Hello, I'm Bret Moss, and you're watching The Defining Moment for Creating the Culture of Conscience. Our guest today is Carrie Donahue. Carrie Donahue is the author of Love, Marriage, and Relationships. Carrie has a wide range of experience as a health professional, including helping couples with infertility and pregnancy. She spent years listening to doctors, counselors, and therapists to learn what works in relationships and how to support singles in preparing for and couples in creating healthy, passionate, lifelong marriages. She and her husband Glenn have been married for 18 years and they're raising 3 daughters. Carrie Donahue, welcome to The Defining Moment. It's really a pleasure for me to welcome you here to our studio.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Thanks for coming. Our topic today is 10 ingredients for a loving marriage. Among the many topics in your book, you outline 10 ingredients for a loving marriage. So today's interview, we want to ask you to say something about each one of those 10 ingredients. And among them, the first one happens to be love. So as the song goes, what's love got to do with it?
I believe that there does need to be a connection, a love connection. And it is so important that you don't think that you're in love by lust. Money can be an influence of love. People think just because he has a lot of money, I'm in love with him. You need to step back, think about, do I love this person? And there does need to be a love connection. You know, your heart pitter-patters, your knees are weak, just the feeling that you have inside. It's an emotional feeling, and it's an everlasting feeling. So just know that there is a very important part that it plays. So you do need to have love in any relationship or marriage. I know when I was brought up, my dad used to hug my mom all the time in front of us girls. I know there's a lot of families that aren't comfortable with that and are kind of cold. Well, your kids are watching what you do around the house, what you say, what you do. So I'm a believer of affection. There needs to be hugging, there needs to be caressing, snuggling in front of the kids, but there's a lot of that attention needs to go around. So just by patting each other, just by sitting closely, next to each other, plays a big part in a marriage. Well, I know my husband does once a week buy me flowers. That shows me love. My husband does a lot for me. He'll do, if I ask him to do something, it gets done right away. My husband pays attention to my needs, and I think that shows a lot of love to him. I'm always there for him, and I'm supportive to his needs too. So basically, we have to watch those things, and the flowers, the cards, the simple things like that really help in a relationship. When my husband leaves in the morning, we always kiss goodbye, whether we are in a disagreement or not. There's always the kiss goodbye. Maybe we'll never see each other again. It could be something happened along that day, along the road. And I think that's very important. With each of my children, we do that too. We make sure that we hug, we kiss, we say goodbye, just to make a point. A love, an affection. My husband does spend time every day with us for breakfast. We are fortunate to have him do that, so we are lucky. And we spend our evenings together, with dinner. And I think that's nice that I have that. We have that capability that he's able to come home early enough to join the family for dinner.
Yeah, in today's world, many people would say that's a luxury.
It is a luxury.
But unfortunately,
that's right.
It's a luxury.
And I'm very lucky, and I show my appreciation. I am so thankful. I pray to God all the time that is something that we should appreciate, that we can have breakfast with our husband, we can have dinner with our husband, and that he's not coming home at 9 o'clock at night and leaving first thing in the morning before we even get up. So my children do appreciate that too. They see that there is something there, a bond with us, and it's important to bond. My husband is very loving, and each one of us he gives certain attention to. and he'll tuck them in for, at night he'll tuck them in bed and say a little prayer with each one of them. And then we have our special time together, which is really nice. So he's very affectionate, and we do walks on the beach hand in hand. And like I said, we've been married for 17 years, and my husband still shows me a great deal of attention and love just by those little things. So I'm very fortunate.
Why is nurturing trust and honesty necessary in maintaining a healthy, lasting marriage?
Well, Bret, this is very important for any marriage, a trust. We can have a husband that travels. You can have a husband that goes away 6 months out of the year. You need to have trust for both of you, both units. Trust your husband, he needs to trust you. There needs to be, if you don't trust your husband and he does travel, it will cause a grave deal of pain and insecurity. So I think it's very important for you to be able to trust your husband and he to trust you. Every relationship needs to have that trust and that bond of security.
How do couples go about establishing trust?
Okay, I would say this takes time. It does take time to establish this, because when you are with somebody, you don't know them. This is why dating before marriage or any commitment, that you know this person and you've been with this person and you've seen the way he is and the way he acts. So it takes time. And also, you know, your best friend, his best friend. If his best friend is a joker, distrusting and dishonest, and he does things behind his wife's back, and your husband is with him, or your fiance is hanging around him, I would be leery. I would question that. So I think the best thing to do is to get to know this person, learn about him through his family, through friends, and witness it on your own.
Okay, and it goes for both him or her, right?
Him or her.
It's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. I know my husband likes to joke around a lot, and I see him joking around with his friends. So when he doesn't tell the truth and it's just a joke, how far is he going to let it go before he tells them the truth? But that's just my husband, and I know my husband. But when you date somebody and you see that they're constantly catching themselves in lies and dishonesty, those are things you need to remember and to watch for. And I would talk to him about it and say that I don't like that we need to be straightforward. So he can get his act together or not.
Okay, good. Very clear. Thank you. Why is commitment absolutely essential for an enduring, loving marriage?
A commitment is very crucial because you're committing yourself, your life, with this one other person. If you've chosen not to stay single, travel, get to know the world, and live life, you've committed yourself to this one person. That commitment means you've dedicated your life to him, to her. It's a huge commitment. And when you're 20 years old, that means you're spending a lot of time with this one person. And you need to make sure that this commitment that you are making is real. It's realistic. This is where you want to be. This is whom you want to be with.
Like the vows say, in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health.
That's right. You're committed to this person for the rest of your life. So I always say, just make sure when you are ready to make that commitment, that is forever. Make sure it's right. so there's no broken hearts. And that's just, I think it's very important.
Okay, well said. Thank you so much. What role does support play in any marriage?
You support each other in what you want to do in life. Maybe she wants to go back to school to get a degree in nursing. He needs to support that, to honor that. So you give a support to each other. What you let him do, he lets you do. I think it's good to support each other, because if you don't support him in something that he loves to do, he's going to regret it later. It's going to cause trouble in your marriage, in your relationship. It will cause problems, and eventually he probably will go back and do it anyway.
Okay.
So it's good to have the support. I always let my husband know it's okay to go golfing during the day, but bars at night, I'm not comfortable with that. You can go to the surfing with the guys, but nightlife is a problem for me.
Sure.
Because bars and drinking and social events separate can cause trouble.
They can lead to something
It does.
Unexpected.
It could.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
And it's dangerous. And so I always say you can do anything during the day: golfing, surfing, he likes to go car racing, and he goes to the fights, and he goes to the basketball games, and everything you can imagine. If you allow your husband to have a certain amount of range,
Mm-hmm.
and you allow him to go to bars, then it could cause trouble. And what could happen is he might like it, and he might start being dishonest with you about things that he did there and who he saw, and things just happen at the bars that
One thing leads to another.
One thing leads to another, and that could be uncomfortable, but there's no going backwards. You know, once you've said you can do it, it's hard to go backwards and say, I don't want you to do it anymore.
Right.
So make sure when you are supporting each other in whatever it is that they are doing, that you are comfortable with it, 100% comfortable with it.
Okay, good. And tell us about strength.
Well, again, strength is a big part of a marriage. When they're down, hurting, miserable, upset, depressed, unhappy, then you need to support them and bring them up. Maybe somebody died in their family. Maybe a friend, a best friend, was going through a lot, and your wife was having a hard time dealing with it. The support that you put together as one, comforting the other, and the balance of it to make her be able to get through that moment. And for the husband, same thing. It goes both ways. If he's struggling at work, he's not able to provide what he used to provide. Maybe he got laid off. Well, you know what? She needs to be there to support him. Honey, don't worry, I'll get a little job on the side. I'll go work in the cafeteria. Whatever it takes. You have to know in a marriage, if someone is hurting or somebody is down, that you are there to back them up. And I think that would be comforting.
How do married couples go about achieving balance in their marriage?
Well, I would think that the balance would be even. You can go here, then I can go here. If you're going out with the guys tonight, maybe I can go out with the girls next week. If I have to stay home with the kids, I wanted to do that, but I'll let you do that today or tomorrow, and next week I will get my turn. A balance can be a lot of different things. Maybe he can help you do the dishes one evening. And, you know, a balance in chores or a balance in work. There needs to be a balance in your relationship to make it stronger, to make it more fulfilling. If there's a balance, if she's doing all of this, she's going to get burned out.
Good communication is vital. Tell us about that.
That is very important to any relationship, is having good communication. Communication is eye-to-eye contact, making sure the other one understands what you mean. Communication can be something said. It could be something communicating, I'm going to do this later, making sure that they know that you're doing that at the time that they say they're going to do it. You know, communication is, a lot of communication too, which is one-on-one with me and my husband, is communicating in a daily basis in what we want, where we want to go, what we're doing in life, what is he happy? Communicating in if you're happy, if you're not happy, things are going wrong, I'm not comfortable with this. Communication is key to understanding. If you understand what he was trying to say, if you understand what he was thinking, it would make life so much easier for the both of you. I say communication is so vital to any relationship. And it's very important for husbands. They've come home from a hard day's work. We all know husbands are the backbone, but the women have a crucial part in life too. Bringing up children is really hard. So when he walks in that door, you want to just explode with all the things that have gone on with your daily chores and the children and what they've done and what broke. And give your husband time to come home and relax, sit, unwind before you want to jump in and give him all the things that had gone wrong all day. Communicate with him at the right time, at the right moment. You know, give him time to unwind.
And for the husband?
And then for the husband, he'll come in and at his timing, when he's finished with his, whatever he's got to take his mind and finish in his office, he'll come out and he'll talk with me and we'll communicate. I let him tell me first before I explode. I let him tell me how his day was. Then I go in and I let him hear what I have to say. But communication with that is very, very important.
And do you have any tips for the husbands in terms of the importance of listening?
Well, husbands really do need to listen to women, us wives, because we feel that we've been with kids all day, and we feel that we've done so many things, and usually men think, well, I worked, I'm the one that needs the beer, get me a beer. But when you come home, a woman needs you to listen to them too, because they have so much to let off. And if you let her explain in detail, I know men have a hard time with that because they're busy. They want to get to the next thing, you know, hi honey, and go to the next thing. But sit for just a short time is all it takes, and let her get it off her chest, whatever it was that was bothering her, so it's not weighed on here. And when this gets too heavy, it's hard to show your emotional love for each other because this is too heavy. Women just want the attention. They want to be recognized for all the little things that they did, no matter how little it is. And if your husband or fiance or boyfriend in any relationship gives us just that much time, it makes a big difference. It would make a huge difference in any relationship, the closeness. If men are too busy and too bothered for that little bit of attention to their spouse, then it gets deeper, it gets worse, it gets buried under the rug. But we need to make sure our communication is open. It's vital to any relationship.
Enlighten us a little bit about money and finances.
Well, it is true that having money helps. But when you get married to someone, make sure that it isn't over money or over lust. I thought I loved him, because money is a big influence on women. If I was a guy, I wouldn't tell my date how much money I had. I didn't want to know what my husband had. His friends would come up to me and say, "Do you know what your husband has?" And I said, "Don't tell me, I don't want to know." I didn't want to be influenced, whether he had money or not, whether he was here or there. I wanted to love him from my heart and his personality. So be careful with the finance, and don't let it influence you, what he has. If he drives a hot car, if he has a house already, he's got a big job making lots of money, don't let that influence you. Keep your eyes focused. Do I love this person? Do I love his heart? Do I love his being? Is he good to me? Don't let money get in the way. When you get married, you were blind. You thought you loved him, but you were looking at his financial situation. Don't be fooled. Pay attention to your heart.
Okay, good. And how about in the course of a marriage? What role does money and finances play, and how do you, a lot of couples suffer.
Okay.
And get into trouble. They have conflicts
Right.
over not having enough money.
This is wonderful.
Yeah,
because I want to tell you.
Give us some advice about that.
Nowadays, women are smarter. They're going out and getting careers. So here, it is not good. She's making more than he is. She doesn't want to raise her children because she's got a career and she's making more. So more men are staying home raising their children, or they both are working. So then you have the dual income, which is good. If you've gone to school, you got your degree, your parents pushed you off to college, so she wants to be a doctor, and he is doing whatever it is he's doing, a mechanic. She's making good money, he's making good money, but they've got a pool somewhere. Who is watching the kids? So finance, if you're both going to work, you need to talk about it before you start having your children. I think one of the parents should raise the children, whether it be the wife or the husband. Nowadays with women's lib, it doesn't matter. Women are working, men are staying home. I believe men should work and women should be home raising their children. So there's a lot of nannies now. So who's raising your children? So finance is so important. What do you need? Do you both need to be working? If you both need to be working, that's one issue, to be where you want to be. But you need to think about the children, because they're the ones that are hurting. They're the ones that aren't getting the love and support from the mother and father. They're being raised by nannies.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you so much. Why is it important to have faith in each other?
I love having faith in my husband, that if I tell him to go pick up the hors d'oeuvres for his mother, that I know he's going to do it. I know I have faith in my husband, he's going to do it. Or I have faith in myself that I can do it. I can write this book. I have faith in myself. Or I have faith in my kids are going to get good grades. It could be his work. I have faith you're going to get that promotion. And you support him. And you give him all the support that it takes. You know, you can love and support him and give him the faith that he is going to get that promotion. And you're just there for them. You can only be there for them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And how can married couples go about including God in their marriage?
And this is very important. because I've seen this in so many relationships where people get so trapped into what they have and they take their eyes off of God, and they don't go to church, or they are not religious, or they have no faith in any religion at all. But they have so much on their plate. They have all the jewelry you can ever want. They can have the boats and the big cars and the big house. But God is watching everything that we do. He has given you what you have, and He can take it away. So if you don't keep your eyes focused on God, and if He's not in your relationship, married in your relationship, that's hard to explain to people that don't understand, but there's a relationship, you and your husband and God. If there isn't God in your relationship, He allows Satan to come in and destroy your marriage slowly. You may not even notice it. It could be losing a loved one, going through the divorce, but it makes you cry out, please, God, don't take them away from me. They can be having surgery. Please, God, let the surgery go well. That's bringing you to God. That's what He wants. So to take something away, most people start to pray. Sometimes they've never prayed in their life, but when they've lost a loved one, then they start praying, God, why did you take them away? You know what God says is, I wanted you to have eyes for me, and see what it took for you to have eyes for me. Sometimes it's tragic. We don't understand it. But having God in your life is crucial. Make sure when He gives you something that you reward Him and thank Him and appreciate it, because He can take it away.
So on that note, Carrie Donahue, I want to thank you so much for having been our guest today on The Defining Moment.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You've been watching The Defining Moment for Creating a Culture of Conscience. You can find us on the internet at www.definingmoment.tv. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.